Hello there. My name is Yudi, and this is the Yudi Factor, a program that understands that knowledge is power. And therefore, week after week, we discuss issues and we empower you with information to enable you make informed choices, especially when you factor in something you heard on the Yudi Factor into a given situation. Our topic today is breaking bad habits, building good ones. Did I hear someone say, I don't have any bad habits? Well, wait until the end of the program, and then you'll find out if you have bad habits. And my guest today is Pastor 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 Shimolo, the senior pastor of KICC, and also the chancellor of King's University, Odeomu. Pastor?
Good to see you.
Pastor, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Pastor, please sit.
Thank you.
You're welcome back. Pastor, thank you for always honoring our invitation.
A pleasure.
And coming to empower us with information on how to build new habits. Why is it important?
Well, people will be shocked to know that what really makes millionaires or billionaires is not anything but habits. Habits form your future. Okay. Bad habits unlock the door of failure. Good habits open the door and hand over the keys of success to you. Your capacity to manage opportunities are based on the habits you have formed. 40% of our daily life is centered around habits. Some of us don't even realize some things are a habit. How your life shapes out, who becomes your friend, who is your enemy, is oftentimes determined by the kind of habits you have. How much money you make. Really, wealth, success is 10% luck, 90% habits. So habit is so major. The quality of relationships in marriage and lifestyle with people is dependent on habits. If you are a sad person, if you are a happy person, your habits have a lot to do with it. Good habits are the keys to success. Bad ones, they shut door, they limit people, and they limit the future.
What are some of these bad habits you're talking about?
Well, if you talk bad habits, it all depends. You have to know that how good or bad a habit is dependent on 1, culture, 2, daily lifestyle, 3, the setting of your upbringing, 4, your religious belief. For one person, a habit is not seen as bad because he does not have a conviction that says this one does not agree with your cultural orientation or religious. For example, the Yorubas, they have a culture of prostrating and greeting. To one other culture,
In my culture, we don't have it.
So it's not a bad habit for you if you did not kneel down or prostrate. So it's not that kind. But the ones that really shape a person's total life are the ones we are talking about here, which oftentimes are the routine of life. They all start like a little thread with which a woman does her hair. But the same thread, if you gather several of it, it becomes a twine. The same twine becomes a cord. And at the cord level, you can't break it. When it was just a little thread,
you could break it.
You probably could have said, oh, when I'm ready, I'll break this thing. But you did not realize that whatever you permit increases. And whatever increases can either be a problem or a blessing.
What triggers bad habits then?
What triggers bad habits are, firstly, the company of people you keep, the relationships, the association. You'll find that if you constantly hang out with people who use illicit drugs, something inside you begins to break down. The resistance to it begins to break down. No matter how strong you are, you'll find yourself beginning to, first of all, go from resistance to tolerance, from tolerance to acceptance, from acceptance to substance. You want me to take you through that 4 again?
Yes.
From resistance to tolerance, from tolerance to acceptance, and then from acceptance to substance.
Yes.
So many people will resist. Then the second thing which triggers it is routines. If routinely you began to, let's take a bad one, not brush your teeth in the morning, and then you form the habits, and you form the habits, and you form the habits until you told yourself,
I don't need it.
I didn't die yesterday. So that's a habit. It would have its effect eventually when you begin to lose your teeth or you're unable to eat certain things. Places also trigger habits. Some people do not know that the seed of certain behaviors are in them until they find themselves in certain places. And when they are in that place, a habit is triggered. Reward system triggers habits, either a bad reward or a good reward. Say, for example, the person who used the illicit drug, he felt high. So that high made him come back tomorrow, made him come back another day. But in the same vein, if it's a good habit, the reward system behind the good habit makes you to want to particularly continue. And then let me just add this one, the sequence of thoughts. If you have the same kind of thinking, it could trigger bad habits. And that leads to another thing we call looping. One habit loops into the other habit. And this habit loops into the next habit. And when you have habits in loops, they eventually become a chain.
Who determines what is a bad or good habit?
That's a good one. Firstly, like I said, there is cultural belief.
Yes.
Secondly, there's societal acceptance. Mm-hmm. Thirdly, there is religious conviction. Fourthly, we are social beings. We don't live in isolation. We are not like the man in Treasure Island who was marooned on an island and he had a man Friday. No. We are people who are social beings. So if you like it or not, you may say, many times people would like to boast and say, I'm an independent person, I have a mind of my own. Technically, we are not exactly that way. I wore this suit because that's the way the world wears it. Yes. If I wore it backwards, before I got to this place, somebody will say, Pastor, are you okay? Because there is what is accepted socially. So these things help. Then what defines bad habit may be the consequence, the effect eventually. If I, for example, form a habit of eating late night every day, one, I develop a large stomach. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I break down my health. Mm-hmm. Thirdly, I have worrisome headaches. Fourthly, if there's a lot of drinking of water during that late eating, it meant also my sleeping is messed up. So all these things can form bad habits.
How do you break free from bad habits?
There is no...
Don't respond to that question. Respond when we come back.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are talking about good and bad habits and how you can break bad habits and form good ones. Pastor, just before we went on break, I asked you, how can we break free of bad habits?
Firstly, you have to realize that when you notice that there's a habit you want to break, the first thing you need to do is to change a keystone habit. If my health is bad,
from eating late.
From eating late.
Yes.
Then I need to first go back to the time I eat. And so when I now change the time I eat, that's a keystone habit. I will begin to reverse so many things. Of course, my body would react because I've already created a cycle. The second thing to now do after I have changed that keystone habit is to try to beat my cravings. That's the toughest. Particularly if your fridge is not far from
your bed.
or where you sit down to watch television and you felt like going to the bathroom and you have to walk past the fridge. And as you saw the fridge, you open and there's this nice love park butter and some slices of bread.
Or fruit bread. I love fruit bread.
So you're confessing your own TV. So to break bad habits, you need to change keystone habits, break cravings. Then if it's a kind of a life-threatening habit, there are some societies now where you find that they form social groups. In the United Kingdom, the United States, and some parts of the world, they have Alcoholics Anonymous. Somebody who finds that being an alcoholic is messing him up, he joins them, and part of what they do is that
You confess. I'm an alcoholic.
what you cannot do in public. In fact, if anybody called you a drunkard outside, you say, who be
angry.
drunkard? You swear at them and curse their mother.
I've seen their meetings. I've seen them on TV. Say, I'm an alcoholic.
Yes, because that first admission. Because most times when you have a bad habit,
You're in denial.
there is a denial. There is a denial. That's why that little twine becomes a cord, because there is a
Just keeps
denial.
going.
Yeah. So you find a social group because firstly, they will make change easier. You notice that, wait a minute, what's my stress? I'm an alcoholic. This one is an alcoholic. That one, when you now even get there, you find that maybe your boss.
He's an alcoholic.
So it helps. And it also makes change believable. When in that kind of meeting, they now bring someone who tells his own story. Say you were hung on one packet of cigarette. He was
On 10.
on. So you say, if this one can change,
Stop, yes.
there is hope for me. And then surround yourself with friends who share your convictions. You cannot want to break from a habit and hang out with people who they haven't even seen anything wrong with it. They say, this one is not a bad habit. You can't keep hanging with
It's
them.
not life-threatening.
Or they'll say it's not life-threatening, but they do not realize that certain things do not initially look life-threatening. When you take a glass of alcohol, it doesn't look life-threatening until it begins to eat up your liver, and then there's too much of it in your bloodstream, etc., etc. Then create cultures that help you to develop new habits. If late eating is your problem, one of the things you could do is create new culture. You could create a culture of sitting somewhere else to read a book. Maybe you say, now every evening I shall be reading 2-3 chapters a day. And when you form that habit, you sit there, you read 3 chapters, it helps you. Then train yourself to put a danger sign on some habits. I'm 66. If I want to live long, I shouldn't just quote scriptures as a pastor. This is one thing Christians do. I shall live and not die.
To declare the glory of
To
the
declare
Lord.
the glory of God. But the Bible makes very clear that I must not lie down on the bed of languishing. Research have shown if I want to stay away from diabetes, I must cut down some kind of food. So if I begin to do this, I am helping myself and aiding the scriptures. People do not realize that
There's a God part and there's a man
yes,
part.
I'm a pastor, I'm a Bible man, so I'll tell you, there's a God part and a man part. When Jesus got to the grave of a dead man called Lazarus, he refused to raise the man. He said, you human beings, move away the stone first. Play your part. Is it difficult for him to move the stone supernaturally? No. But he needed them to do an act of faith. Many of our people continue the same pattern of, for example, I had to redefine what I eat. I came up with this conviction that the food of my culture was developed by farmers. Because they needed heavy intake of carbohydrates in order to go to the farm and work hard. I went to live in that kind of a farm for 1 year, and I noticed these guys will go by 6 in the morning. They work till 6 in the evening. Their hands are callous. In fact, their back is painful. They shake you. you see the stars. So you find that they burn whatever they ate easily. But we drive in an air-conditioned car, we sleep in an air-conditioned home. The walk between our car and our house is very short, from there to the office, and some of us don't exercise. So you need to begin to develop habits that cut down your food, develop habits that make your body live long, exercise, etc., etc.
Would the creation of habits categories help?
It will help if you create categories for habits. You need to have habits which you see as this habit is for dealing with people. If, for example, I say, okay, from now on, I'm not going to let anybody make me sad. If a person raises his voice, yeah, I've made up my mind. I'm not going to match him voice for voice. I have created a way to deal with people.
Okay.
So when he shouts, I'm telling myself, remember, Matthew, you said no matter how this person behaves, you do not want to be shouting.
Hold the thought, Pastor. Hold the thought. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're joining us in the remaining moments for this topic, good habits and how you can destroy bad habits. So, Pastor, in these remaining moments, I'll ask you, what personal habits can we form to build a future?
Well, let me just first give you a bigger picture. Okay. You need to accept realities. Mm-hmm. These are my realities. The reality of my health, the reality of the person I am, the reality of the social status I have, the reality of people around me. Then you need to make progress towards your desired result. Who do you want to be? How do you want your life to pan out? Once you know what this is, then you form your habit. For example, if you want to be wealthy, you want to handle money, don't keep blaming Nigeria and the government. You've got to, number one, wake early. Be an early person. Number two, you've got to be a reading person. Be current. Being current is the currency of life. Number three, you need to be a meditating person so that you know how to meditate on truth. Number four, you need to be a hard-working person, but not just hard, but smart. And when you are doing this, let me warn the X generation and the millennials, that is the 20 to 35-year-olds, cut down social media. It can just so consume your time that you have no time to really build good habits. You're always going from Facebook to last book, from last book to this book to the other book, until you really have dissipated your energy. Then stay healthy physically by keeping fit, eating well. African meals originally were designed to fill stomach, not to give health. So when we put a pounded yam in front of us, it's like Okonkwo's pounded yam and things fall apart.
You couldn't see the other side.
I couldn't see the other side. Yeah. That does not help. So eat well, brush your teeth. Let me suggest twice, 3 times in fact. You know, it sounds funny until in 1999, I was about to have a big problem. The whole of the gum of my mouth was bad. When I went to the orthodontist, she said she would tear my gum, clean it, and gum it back. I said, will it be okay? She said, no, it might not be the same. I said, is it life-threatening? She said, no. I ran it. But before I ran, she was giving somebody advice that to keep your teeth long, brush 2 times, 3 times a day. She said, because every time you eat, you put sugar around it, and it wears your teeth. Play like a child. Be a happy person. Don't wait for others to make you happy. Quit certain habits that are destroying you, then live with a purpose. To form good habits, you need to live with a purpose. By that I mean, carpe diem, seize the moment. See life as a gift. You will only live once. Yes. Only James Bond lives twice. You only live once.
And add this to that as we round up. How do you affirm good habits?
How do you affirm good habits? One of the things I do when I achieve my dream, I celebrate with a bottle of water. It sounds funny, but okay, say for example, I play golf. Golf gives me the chance to do exercise I have something on me that makes me might measure if I've done 10,000 steps a day. When I find that I've played a nice shot, the guy who's holding my bag, I say, hey, give me my water. I need to celebrate this one. When you celebrate yourself, it has a way of healing your system, and you have not left your happiness in people's hands. There are men who are not happy waiting for their wives to make them happy.
And vice versa.
And there are wives who are not happy waiting for their husband. There are people who are waiting for their children or their parent or some colleague. You need to celebrate yourself, have deep values, learn new things every day. Every day. Make sure, it's interesting, as I was driving to be here, I saw on the road, typical guy selling the street, somebody selling a book. You might just find one, pick up one, instead of complaining about Lagos traffic, start reading. If you can't do that one, there are now companies that run audio books. Just do a Google. You find that there are so many audio books for $1. $2 books, somebody who's paid $20, you buy it for $2, they'll download it to your phone. So while the traffic is on, you are hearing great writers form this kind of habit. Then you know what? Say no a lot. Do you know? Don't leave your happiness in other people's hands. Don't be everything to every man. Have fun with your own life. And guess what? Smell the roses. Sometimes stay away. Hang your head down, be a happy person. Somebody doesn't like the way you look, that's their own problem. This will help you to move forward and then continue to grow every day. These are good habits you can form. Good habits. Continue to grow every day. Even the pain in which you find yourself, let it make you stronger. Let it make you stronger.
Pastor, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to have you, and always so humble that you find time to come and empower us with information.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. There are people you meet and you find their habits very irritating. And there are some you meet and you just love them because of the habits. What habits do you put out there? When you're with people, people enjoy your company? Do you enjoy yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you love the things you do? How do you feel at the close of day when you're on your bed? Was it a good day? Did you hurt somebody? Are there people you're waiting to make you happy? Happiness is personal. It is about you. If you depend on somebody to make you happy, I don't think you'll ever be happy. Life, like they say, is short, but we all are here to fulfill a purpose. Find what exactly makes you happy. What will enable you fulfill purpose? What will add value to your life? And then move on and achieve and be all that God wants you to be. Until I come your way another time, my name is Judy. This is my factor. Goodbye. God bless and see you again next week.